Alofa Lava, this is Pacific Waves from RNZ Pacific. I'm Susana Suisuiki. Coming up,
they're not able to get ahead of the cost increases that are still turning up.
Pacific unemployment rates in New Zealand higher than any other ethnic group. Also, the Cook Islands beauty pageant is back for the first time since COVID, and a Tongan rugby league star is on the road to recovery. In Aotearoa, Pacific peoples are being hit the hardest by rising unemployment, which has risen to a near 9-year high. Stats NZ numbers show the unemployment rate rising to 5.3% in the 3 months ended September, from 5.2% in the previous quarter. However, the unemployment rate for Pasifika is 12.1%, more than double the national average and the highest of any ethnic group. Koroi Hawkins reports.
So at a headline level, unemployment increased to 5.3% across the country. That's the highest rate for 9 years.
Craig Rennie is the economist and director of policy at the New Zealand Council of Trade Unions.
There's now 160,000 people who are unemployed. That's the highest number of people who are unemployed in New Zealand since 1994.
But it's an even bleaker picture for Pacific peoples, with unemployment at 12.1%, more than double the national average and the highest of any other ethnic group in New Zealand. Mr. Rennie says when you actually break down the data in terms of who is doing what, why, when, where inside the Pacific workforce, it's clear that labour force participation is pretty steady. It's at 68.5% now, and about a year ago it was 68.2%. But what has happened is the number of people unemployed has gone up.
So in September 2024, there were 19,100 Pacific peoples, as Statistics New Zealand calls it, who were unemployed. It's now 25,400. If I go back 2 years, it was 16,000 people unemployed against 25,000 people being unemployed now. So there's been a big lift in the number of people who are unemployed.
At the same time, Stats NZ numbers show a consistent fall in the employment rate for Pacific peoples. It was 63.1% 2 years ago. Now it's 60.2%. Basically, there are more Pacific people entering the job market than there are jobs being created. Ahead of the actual numbers coming out on Wednesday morning, the Finance Minister, Nicola Willis, told Morning Report she's confident the economy is recovering, saying unemployment is always the last thing to connect in a recovering economy.
I'm very confident we're in a recovery. All of the economists I speak to think that the economy is currently growing and that growth will accelerate over the coming months. And that is backed up by the stories I'm hearing in our community. Doesn't make it easy, doesn't mean that it hasn't been a really tough time for a lot of people.
Labour's deputy leader and Pacific People's spokesperson, Carmel Sepuloni, disagrees strongly.
I think that what Nicola Willis has said is disingenuous. So many people, so many communities are not feeling any sense of recovery whatsoever.
Nicola Willis says the government is growing the economy and business confidence with things like tax relief and big infrastructure spending. But Carmel Sepuloni says the reality on the ground is driving outward migration, especially for Pasifika.
When Pacific unemployment is at 12.1%, it's no wonder that so many Pacific people are choosing to cross the ditch in search of opportunities and in search of work.
Another grim stat to come out on Wednesday is that the average real wage increase for all New Zealanders is 2.1%, whereas inflation right now is 3%. Craig Rennie says this means the average worker's wages are going backwards in real terms.
And as a consequence, that is again a big part of the reason why people are finding, paying the bills, getting ahead, such a real struggle, because although the headline rate of inflation might be lower, wages are so much lower and they're not able to get ahead of the cost increases that are still turning up.
He says there are now more than 400,000 people who are underutilised in New Zealand. He says that means they want more work, but they can't currently get it.
Time now for our socials wrap. Joining me is our RNZ Pacific journalist, Tiana Haxton. Kia orana, Tiana.
Kia orana sana.
To kickstart our talanoa, there's a pretty disturbing development surrounding Tongan Rugby League player Eliesa Katoa, who suffered a series of head knocks from the Kiwis and Tonga game on Sunday.
That's right, but thankfully he is recovering now after emergency brain surgery. But what's gone viral is the conversation on how did it even get to that point?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of chatter online, and most have called the situation indefensible.
But he wasn't great on the sideline, and I'm told that he was responsive and was improving before he actually went to the hospital. The doctor's done the usual HIA. We've got two very experienced doctors there. They've done their usual HIA. He's passed all that well, and unfortunately, I think he's copped a second hit that's quite heavy, and obviously there's been a bit of a poor result on the back of that.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot going on, and overall it's a really sad, unfortunate situation. But online, people have been debating the morals and the ethics around what happened. And then you've also got a lot of people saying if you're already injured like that, you do not play, full stop.
Even former Kiwis player Sean Johnson said he was angry about it.
Yes, and so the NRL's launched an investigation and the Rugby League Players Association's running its own, but Tonga's coach Christian Wolff says his doctors followed protocol. And now the whole thing's just kicked off a huge debate about player safety and concussion rules.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Their team should prioritise their health and safety.
On Instagram, Katoa's posted from hospital thanking fans for their support, saying "Ofatu, love you all." But yeah, this one's shaken people up. It's a massive talking point. And if one good thing comes out of it, if anything, maybe it's that the game takes another hard look at head knock safety.
Absolutely, and we're sending endless prayers to Eliesa. Turning to some lighter news now, I see the Cook Islands have crowned their new beauty queen.
Yes, it's a great day for the pageantry world. So Tiare Henry Anguna was crowned Miss Cook Islands 2025 over the weekend, and she's actually the first to hold the crown in 7 years.
Wow, I mean, that's a long time since the last pageant. What was behind the hiatus?
So firstly, there was the global pandemic, but also there weren't enough ladies to run the pageant. So the Miss Cook Islands team had advertised repeatedly over the years calling for participants. However, they said they needed a minimum of 7 girls to put on the show. So finally, this year, 7 brave young ladies took up the challenge.
Awesome. And from here, I understand that Tiare will be heading to next year's Miss World pageant in Africa. The former Miss Cook Islands placed quite high in 2019. I mean, that's the highest the country had ever reached, right?
Yes, so that was Tajia Sahe. She placed 6th overall, and she took home the Miss World Oceania crown, which was a huge achievement for the Cook Islands. And now Tiare, she's well known for her passion for her culture. She's represented the Cook Islands internationally as a dancer, and she's very involved in the community. So it's not a surprise to be seeing so much support for her online and people expressing how confident they are in her, representing the country with pride on that world stage.
And congratulations to Tiare. And the 2 runner-ups also have international pageants coming up?
Yes, that's right. So the first runner-up, Zoe Hoff, she's actually in the depths of her preparations already, with the Miss International pageant just 3 weeks away in Tokyo. And the second runner-up, Matangaroa Tarabe, will be heading to Thailand to compete for the Miss Grand International crown. That's in September of next year. So yes, big things coming for all 3, and online my feed is just full of people resharing the crowning moments and wishing the ladies all the best.
Best of luck to all the ladies indeed. Okay, now turning our attention to Henry and Debbie Onosemo, who have taken their restaurant to new heights.
Yes, a wonderful place called Tala. Fine dining, Samoan flavours, but with a fresh twist. It's a place one of our reporters, Grace Fiavai, actually had the privilege of visiting for a story last year.
So the idea was to take all of our favourite comforting island dishes, coconut cream or pe'pe'e, galo, smoky umu, and serve them up in a way you'd never seen them before.
Yes, it's making me hungry just thinking about it. But yeah, look at them now. Tala's gone from a local gem to a full-on global headline. Henry's just come back from Milan with a knife award. That's basically the chef world's version of a Grammy. And Onesimo told the New Zealand Herald he was busting his Samoan flag every chance he could. Plus, Tala snagged 3 hats at the Cuisine Good Food Awards. That puts it at Aotearoa's top 6 restaurants, which is not bad for year 2.
Yeah, I saw online also that the Australian named Atala one of the world's 12 most exciting new restaurants for 2025. So that's huge.
Yes, and it's just so cool seeing Samoan cuisine getting that kind of love, showing the world what our Pacific food can be.
And Henry said it's all about pride, celebrating where he's from and showing those flavours deserve to stand beside the best in the world.
Yes, and socials have been buzzing too. There's photos of these dishes everywhere. Half of Auckland's trying to get a booking now.
Well, a massive congratulations to Henry and Debbie achieving so much, and they're just getting started. And we'll end our socials talanoa on that note. Me taki ma'ata Tiana Haxton, our RNZ Pacific journalist, with our socials wrap.
Kia manuia.
The rugby league world is in a state of shock as to how and why Tongan player Eliesa Katoa was allowed to play against the Kiwis at Eden Park last Sunday after he had suffered a serious head knock during the team's warm-up session. Katoa was rushed to Auckland Hospital after he suffered a seizure on the sideline following 2 more head knocks during the Pacific Championship match. Senior sports journalist Elisa Tora has been following the story and joins me for a talanoa on the issue. Paula Eliesa, what's the latest on Eliesa Katoa's status?
Bulavinak Sana, and good news this afternoon. Reverend Setelo Katoa, Eliesa's uncle, has just spoken with Pacific Media Network and he has confirmed that the doctors and the medical team at Auckland Hospital that were monitoring and observing Eliesa have released him from the intensive care unit, and he currently is in the recovery ward. And Setelo says that Eliesa is much better. He had spoken with him. He had stated that he wants to rest as he had come through the surgery and is looking forward to being released in the next few days.
Do we know how long his recovery will take?
Well, at the moment, there is no indication of when that recovery will be for, or how long that will be for, because all that the uncle had stated is that he would be in recovery, and there are indications that he would be released earlier than many people thought.
There's been some concerns from his club, Melbourne Storms, and the National Rugby League. What are they saying?
Yes, the concerns from the club Melbourne Storm and the NRL is basically focused on the process that was taken and the decision to still play him against the Kiwis in the game on Sunday afternoon in Auckland, because what they're pointing at is that he was actually, hit hard in an aerial battle during the warm-up session, and he was knocked out. But he was still allowed to play in the starting lineup when that game kicked off, and then having 2 further head knocks during the game, and still having been passed after having gone through HIA in the second knock. And basically that is what the NRL and the Melbourne Storm are worried about, is how that process was followed and the decisions that were made in line according to that.
Yeah, during the post-match interview, Tongan coach Christian Wolf defended the call to allow Katoa to play at the weekend. What's been the reaction to that?
Yes, there's a lot of questions being asked. There's a lot of questions being asked. One is, why wasn't the HIA process done when he was first knocked out in the warm-up session? Right? Because when Wolf was asked during the post-match press conference, he stated that the HIA wasn't done. But it was done later on after his first knock. But, and then he said that he trusted the doctors, the medical officials who had carried the HIA out. But the reaction, former Kiwi captain and star Shaun Johnson said that should not have happened. Him being allowed to play should not have happened, and he should have been stopped from playing after the first knock. I know that professional coaches now, with player safety being the priority, not only in rugby league but across all other sports, any sign of a head knock, and that presumed to be effective or having an effect on the player should be cause for alarm, and that should have raised the red flags. But that is what it is at the moment, and I'm sure the conversations, the discussions, the questions around that decision to still allow him to play will be ongoing for a few more days, and it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
That's Pacific Waves for today. For all episodes, head over to rnz.co.nz/Pacific. We're also on Spotify, Apple and iHeartRadio. From myself and the RNZ Pacific team, tō whā, soifua.